You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your own online shop stage to the first real life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Shopify's there to help you grow. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to the other leading commerce platforms. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/promo. Shopify.com/promo.
Hi, I'm Nicole Goodman.
And I'm Lauren Mishkon. Every Tuesday, we trial a different self-care practice and report back to you on the results.
And on Friday, we are back to explore more from the world of wellness with the latest news, interviews, feedback from our wonderful listeners, and our challenge of the week.
Welcome back to Self-Care Club, the Epilogue show.
Shall I start? I never. I can't even speak. I never do the opener to the epilogue. Shall I do it?
Go on.
That'll be quite novel. Hi, I'm going to do it in the voice of Lauren.
Go on then.
Hi, and welcome to Friday's Epilogue show, where we're taking a deeper dive into this week's practice of how to have a difficult conversation.
So, Nicole Goodman.
Yes, Lauren Mishkon.
How are you getting on with this week's practice?
Well, something interesting has just come up.
What,
hasn't
just
it?
now, this minute in the studio?
Just now, this minute in the studio.
Yeah, what happened?
We had to have a difficult conversation.
We did.
Not with each other.
No, thankfully.
With James.
Yeah.
Our lovely producer.
Yeah.
And it got a bit testy, didn't it? By the way, I have asked James's permission if he was happy for us to talk about it.
And he replied, I don't give a shit. That's what he said. So,
and then
we take that as a yes.
Will you get involved in the conversation? He goes, fuck that, no.
Fuck that, I'm not getting involved.
Yeah.
Well, he was involved.
It was a three-way conversation.
How did it go, the difficult conversation, do you think?
Well, I'd like to say at the top that I haven't slept.
All night.
She's
jet lagged.
So
listeners.
I got a bit testy with James and he got a bit testy with me. But we do tend to get a bit testy with each other. But that's just part of our relationship. So I'm all right with it. And I know James is.
I mean, I like the way...
And then when James walked out the door, walked out the room and you
Yeah.
said, oh, you're very tired.
I didn't say it like that.
I didn't stomp out the room.
He didn't leave in a huff. He went to go and tell downstairs to turn their radio down.
Yeah,
But
he went at a point where it was quite uncomfortable.
Well,
Wouldn't you say, James?
I would say he gave space.
That's what I did.
That's what he did, intentionally.
Can they hear you? Are you on mic?
Now I'm in. Carry on.
We've all been away for the summer.
Yeah.
So we haven't spoken to James since July. And it's now September.
Yeah.
Basically ignored me, but that's fine.
And James sent a message out
On our group chat.
on our group chat about changes happening in the studio.
And
That we asked for. We said what's happening with the studio over a couple of things, timings, pricing, all that sort of stuff. And he gave us all the answers that we'd asked for. And then
what did you do, girls?
We just didn't reply
we
at all.
just totally didn't reply.
And so poor
didn't even confirm
we
that
didn't
was
even
okay.
say thanks for the message, James. We said nothing because
We said
we've
nothing.
been...
So as my wife, who listens to this podcast, will attest, she asked me last night, our self-care club are coming in this morning.
Yeah.
And I said, don't know.
So poor James.
So poor James has been stressed.
2
So
months.
stressed.
He's been sitting there thinking,
So worried.
Are they ever returning?
Panicked.
Is that it? Did I send this?
Heartbroken.
I sent this message and they've just like binned me off.
Devastated.
All of the above.
Dumped.
All of it.
So he's been sitting in all these feelings, whereas we're just like, oh yeah, well, we'll just be here Monday morning like we normally are, not
Yeah.
thinking about anything.
Yeah. Didn't take James's feelings or any of the information
we didn't even
into...
think he'd be having any
I
feelings.
cried a lot.
Oh, James. So there was a definite lack of communication there, and so a difficult conversation ensued.
The one thing I would like to say,
Yeah.
and James, you can disagree with this, please feel free.
I disagree.
I think that we heard you and took accountability in that respect and apologised, didn't we?
Yes, I think so.
James?
I agree.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. Also, I would like to say I respect the way that both of you are able to just feel the feelings and just lay them out on the table, sometimes in quite a loud way.
Because it's very alien for people that don't do that.
And I'm just not that person. So I just watch you two do it.
In horror.
In sort of shock and horror.
And it makes you uncomfortable.
It makes me want to die. But then I know you've both said your things and it will be fine. And it's a bit like sibling fighting.
I said it's a brotherly, sisterly relationship.
Yeah. It's a bit like that when you can throw them down the stairs in the morning and then have fish fingers with them and it's fine.
But can we just discuss, like, when James left the room to go and ask the people below to be quiet?
Yeah.
They stomped out.
He didn't stomp out. He didn't stomp out. And it was a good point to go.
Yeah.
And Lauren, I think we're going to now have a difficult conversation.
Okay.
And I'm not allowed to use the terms you. Am I?
Okay, no, you have to say,
this is how I feel.
Yeah, go
Or
on.
this is how I read it.
yeah, you're ambushing me in this conversation, or are you preparing me for the difficult conversation we're about to have in the steps discussed on the main show?
I'm going to totally ambush you.
That's not okay. Then I can respond with, I'm sorry, Nicole, I don't really feel ready to have that conversation with you right now, and then leave
And everyone
the studio.
listening right now is devastated because they want to hear what I've got to say.
I want to hear it.
You have to follow the steps.
So when James left,
Yeah.
and you turned around to me, you, I know this is totally wrong,
Yeah.
turned around
Yeah.
and said, you're very tired. I felt like my response or my reaction was completely invalid and shamed.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's very bad, isn't it?
So welcome
And the
to the
thing-
last episode of the Self-Care Club.
And the difference is, right, Lauren and I respond very differently to things, which is
Yeah, we do.
absolutely bloody brilliant. Lauren is patient and calm, and I'm reactive and fiery, and sometimes that's great and sometimes it isn't, and sometimes the calm and patient is great and sometimes it isn't. So we don't always understand how each other respond to things.
No, I do understand, but I also feel if we both responded in the same way, it would be a disaster.
Well, our partnership in general would be a disaster
Yeah.
because either we wouldn't push forward enough or we'd be in beef with everyone.
I think my intention in that moment was just to try and make you aware that perhaps because you're very tired today, which you are, that's just a fact. And it wasn't a criticism.
I have had a sleepless night.
That it's very hard to not react to
Yes.
stuff because you're very one's feelings are very
Heightened.
on edge and heightened, and it's very, very hard. And I know this because I've spent many a night up at a birth and the next morning I feel like the world is ending. It's very hard to feel measured in the most trivial of situations when you haven't slept. So I think it was my way of trying to say to you, just remember you're tired. And so how you feel like you may want to respond now is maybe not be like it might not be the real you.
Okay, I accept that. I totally
It
accept
certainly
that.
wasn't to shame your feelings or dismiss them.
Thanks. Anyway, are we all cool with each other?
As I said, this is the last episode of the Self-Care Club, so it doesn't really
The
matter,
last
does
episode
it?
in James's studio because he's dumping us now.
He's locking us out. That's it.
So, but the funny thing is that actually I'm pleased we've all had this conversation, and this is what this whole week has been about because it connects everybody. Everybody knows what's in the space. Everybody knows how everyone is feeling. There's no hidden agendas. I don't have to worry about what James is thinking or might be thinking or not saying, and because we know, because we've all just had it out and we've hashed it out, and I feel good. Anyone else?
Excellent.
I don't want to fight you anymore.
Oh my God.
I'd win.
I know, that's the problem. We've discussed that many times before.
Listen, I think James and I are both quite hot-headed creatures, so
I would agree.
we're going to come at each other, but it doesn't change the fondness that we have, does it, James? So there we go. So that's a beautiful example of how important a difficult conversation can be and how useful it can be.
I'd also like to add that during the main show, I told you that there was a difficult conversation I wanted to have that I didn't feel that I didn't have because I didn't feel it was appropriate and it wasn't about the other person.
And you felt that it was just you sort of having a bit of a rant at them.
Yeah, but what happened was, in a completely organic way, I happened to find myself alone at a very relaxed moment with this person. And I just thought, you know what? The timing feels right. And I'm not going to ambush you. I'm not going to prepare you for this conversation, but I'm also not going to ambush you, but I'm going to try and feel my way into it. So I just sort of said to them, you know, this situation that's going on with you, it's brought up a lot of feelings for me, making it all about me. And I was extremely surprised when they said, yeah, and me as well.
Oh, I've got shivers.
And I said, okay. And then we both talked about how we felt about it. And they asked, do you feel I'm doing the wrong thing here? What's your opinion on it? And I said no, and I supported them. And I didn't have the exact conversation I wanted to have, because the bits I wanted to pick at, I felt could potentially upset them or hurt their feelings. But I got quite a lot of it out. And obviously, they also had stuff they were thinking about, which was nothing to do with me, but was to do with their situation.
Isn't
which
that totally
gave
amazing?
them an opportunity also
to talk to you about
to talk to me about it. So, and I honestly, I don't think I would have had that conversation if we hadn't done that show.
Wow.
So I was really
And
grateful
how do you
for it.
feel in terms of your connection with that person now? Has it changed anything for you?
No, it hasn't, but I do feel really pleased that I was able to kind of air it. Not all of it, because maybe not all of it was appropriate, but some of it was really good.
Brilliant. It's very healthy.
It's healthy, but I find it very hard.
Should we get on to what the listeners had to say?
Oh, yes.
So I asked on Instagram, how are you with having a difficult conversation? Well, this was
I
interesting.
can imagine some of the things they said.
What do you think they said?
I think that the majority of them, the vast majority, were really, really, really unhappy and uncomfortable about it.
Literally,
Yeah.
everybody
What did they say?
was unhappy and uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
I asked, how are you with having a difficult conversation? Melanie, terrible, but thinking that inaction is worse than action.
Okay.
I agree. What do you think?
Yes, of course I agree, but I also understand that inaction feels easier.
Hannah says she's terrible, but I need to have a few. Oh dear. Dugan _1 says terrible. I avoid it. Laura says not great, but depends on who it's with. Yes, that's very true, Laura. Andrea, not great. I work up a script first and try to imagine how it's going to go. We talked about that.
Never imagine how it's going to go, though. That's the thing.
Because you never know how they're going to respond.
You can't account for other people's feelings in the moment.
No. Cheryl says they wouldn't be called difficult if anyone enjoyed them. Love that.
Ooh,
Think that's
yeah,
brilliant.
very true.
Katie and Louise both said awful. Paula says she's rubbish, lacking in confidence. Nicole says awful. Singing Mammy says terrible. Kim Tolk says rubbish. I've always avoided conflict, but I'm working. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Well,
and on.
I really...
There's not one person that said, yeah, I'm good with it.
I genuinely hope that the main show then brings them a few tips and ideas if they've got conversations they need to have about how to have them.
I think it will. And I think Clemmy was absolutely brilliant. She was brilliant. She was insightful. She was helpful, useful. I think she gave so many golden nuggets that actually it's going to be one of those shows like our Boundaries show or How to Stop Saying Sorry show. It's one of those shows.
Very helpful show. Anyway, Clemmy, has very kindly returned to set you guys are...
The Self-Care Club Challenge of the Week.
Welcome back to the show, Clemmy.
Hi.
Hi. So we've had our week of difficult conversations. Woof. It was a toughie.
Well, it's not, we've had easier weeks.
We have definitely had
Puppy yoga was easier.
Goat yoga was easier. Hugging a tree was easier.
Yeah, laughter yoga was easier.
Yeah, crystal face rollers.
Yep, that
was easier. All easier than this.
But were they as transformative? That's the thing.
Oh, no, probably not.
What, rolling my face with a crystal? No.
Are you sure? Hasn't changed your life?
Momentarily lovely.
So you're back on to give our listeners their challenge of the week. What will it be?
I mean, it's going to be no surprise, but it's to have the difficult conversation. And actually, when we talk about this, you often think about, with your nearest and dearest. But one thing I've learned, and again, I am not good at this, if you get served some cold food in a restaurant,
yes,
complain to the waiter. If you don't get your order in a coffee shop, speak it out loud. I think it's probably quite culturally British that we find that so excruciatingly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's the beginnings of it.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything wrong if you've ordered something, you don't get what you want. You've got to learn to have those interactions and it not to feel like you're doing anything bad or that it's difficult. It's just very, very straightforward communication.
So just start small. You could just start small.
Yes.
Listen, this soup isn't hot. Please, could you replace it? You could start with that. That's good for me, that sort of thing. Baby steps.
But even so, I would do that and I'd still apologise first. It's unbelievable. But what does that mean? I'm not actually sorry.
You're sorry for causing the fuss.
We've actually done 2 separate shows on here. We've done how to stop saying sorry. So the over apologising. We've done a week on that. And we also did a week on how to give a heartfelt apology because they're completely different, aren't they?
Totally.
They really are. And one devalues the other. If we drop sorry and when we walk into a lamppost, which I would do,
yes,
what does it mean when you're an actual apology is huge, isn't it?
Of course.
I used to have a client, and I said this on the show, the Sorry Show. She used to come in my salon, and as she walked in, she would apologise
every time.
Every
for
single
being there?
For walking in,
for existing.
Yeah, I know, it was really heartbreaking. She's the most wonderful girl. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, you won't even realise she's doing it. So the difficult conversations, obviously the ones I'm pointing to are with friends or with colleagues, but I do think it's something we can start with small. But if in any day there's a bit which has left you feeling a little bit funny, follow up on it. And follow up in it. Don't blame. Don't look for a particular outcome, but just shine a light on it because do you know what? An example for me would be I like to go to bed early, right? Mm-hmm. And I got to the point where I didn't invite certain people around because they'd always stay longer than I wanted them to.
Yeah.
And then I realised I'd never once told them that what I'd really like them to do is leave at 10 o'clock, you know? And therefore they don't know they're doing anything wrong. I'm feeling
resentful in advance.
Yeah, resentful and like they've overstepped the mark. And all I need to... And that's what I mean about a difficult conversation. It doesn't have to just be conflict. It can be, for me, it's putting boundaries in can feel difficult. But again, just say, love to have you over. Just so you know, I really need to get a reasonably early night. If I could ask you to leave by 10, that would be great. And nobody minds if they know where the parameters are.
Did you have that conversation?
Yes. And yes.
How did it go?
Fine, no one cares. But all it would be otherwise would be like from 9:30, you're kind of, I hope they're going to go. I hope they're going to go. Try to give them bad vibes.
You know, we used to go to this family for dinner and she'd invite us at 7 o'clock. And at 9:15, she'd disappear. And at 9:55, she'd come back downstairs in her nightie and dressing gown and say, "My darlings, you must all be so tired after such a long week." Which was her very, very polite and elegant way of saying, fuck off. And we did. And we were home by 9 and it was dreamy.
I don't think that is polite and elegant. I think that's passive aggressive.
But it was the way she did it.
And I would respect her much more if she said, right, guys, I've got to go to bed. I've got an early start. Thank you.
She didn't have an early start because it was a Saturday morning the next day. But it was just the way she was like, oh, darlings, you must be exhausted. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
It's passive aggressive.
It didn't feel like that way. It felt like, okay, we get it. We're going. Bye. Thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I mean. But have any kind of difficult conversation. And people like to know where they're at in every sense.
There's so many things, practices that you are bringing here as well, Clemmy. There's asking for what you want. Boundary work, the boundary work, that just comes into absolutely everything, doesn't it? Stop saying sorry. I mean, it's amazing. This week has actually, it's bringing it all back together. It's amazing. Thank you so much. We'll let you know. Pleasure. We'll let you know. Our listeners do feedback to us. Please do. And we'll keep you posted on that. Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're going to take a short break and we'll see you back here for our wellness news flash.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Wellness News Flash.
Okay. Are you ready for the wellness news flash?
Well, there's been a lot of exciting things going on in the world of wellness. You're going to tell everybody at home?
I mean, are you excited about this?
Just read the article.
Well, there's a new celebrity beauty line in town.
Ooh.
And this time it's targeting your self-care routine. Sadly, it's not our launch. That's a shame.
And we're also not celebrities.
Oh, yeah, we're not. It's called Cosmos, aka supermodel and British icon Kate Moss's debut beauty and wellness line. Aimed more at well-being than makeup, Cosmos currently comprises of 6 products. There's a cleanser, a face cream, 2 teas, the sacred Mist de Parfum, and the enticingly named Golden Nectar Oil, which, Nicole, get this, is formulated with mythical tears of Chios. I'm not joking.
What's Chios?
What are mythical tears? Never mind what's fucking Chios. What's Chios? Chios is probably some island near Ibiza. Who's crying the mythical tears? Who's bottling them? What the fuck are they?
How can you not know what mythical tears are?
Do
They
you?
come-
Do you?
Yes, they come from a unicorn, of course.
Oh, a unicorn that shits rainbows. That's the one.
What is it?
I don't know, but it's really expensive. Anyway, it's all
Is it?
Yeah. It's all sustainably sourced, it's vegan, it's cruelty-free, blah, blah, blah. Cosmos is about wellness with modern consciousness.
Yes. I loved that bit because it's basically trying to blend her 2 lifestyles together.
Inspired by her time during lockdown, the mum of one. I mean, who's ever described Kate Moss as a mum of one? Who even remembers that at some point she had a kid? She's just not a mum.
How old is
mummy.
her kid? She's probably like
22
18
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. God knows. Anyway, the
You
mum of
can't-
one,
you can't,
Kate Moss.
You can't be a mum shamer.
I'm not mum shamer, but that is not how I would describe Kate Moss.
How would you describe her?
Party
Supermodel.
90s, supermodel
Yeah.
90s icon Kate
Yeah.
Moss.
Yeah.
Not mum of one who goes to Aldi.
You call me like mum of 2, but not Kate Moss. You're right.
Know what I mean?
You're right. Is it a demotion, promotion? Not sure.
Anyway, during lockdown, believe it or not, she discovered a new love for gardening, flower pressing, and wild water swimming. So Cosmos celebrates slowing down self-discovery and spirituality. Speaking about the collection, Moss said, Cosmos draws on my life experiences, my journey and my transformation. Each project has been meticulously crafted with well-being in mind, designed to unlock new rituals, leading you to find inner balance and love.
I love the little shoulder tilt.
Using
But
only
can
the
I just
pure-
say, right,
Yeah.
that before it launched
Yeah.
on September the 1st,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And before it launched, there was a lot of hype around Kate Moss's new wellness brand.
But that's because she's got a really, really good PR company behind her.
And she's got a massive following.
She's Kate Moss.
So what they did was they set up this Instagram account called Cosmos.
Yeah.
And they just sort of put all of these seductive pictures of her on like waterfalls and sort of like draped in landscapes and looking absolutely gorgeous and then walking naked in this beautiful lake. Why are you laughing?
Because when we launch our self-care brand line with like candles and cleanser and hairspray and shit, we could just be naked in
Hairspray?
Yeah, we could be naked in Waitrose and just like I could just put my bosoms on the cheese aisle like this. And then you could just like
Why
you
the
could be in
cheese
your
aisle?
gym
What?
wear and
Why-
then you could just plonk your bottom with the cured meats. I could really see that.
You're going to hoist your bosoms
Hoist
up.
them,
Why? How's that going
put
to
them on
sell
the
out?
cheese counter.
How's that going to sell our wellness
It
brand?
just might.
Aren't we going to be better off in like
Aldi?
the pharmacy section?
Pharmacy section.
It's better than cheese. We're not selling cheese, are we? Especially with your boobs. No offence.
We can't sell cheese with my boobs.
It's a weird route for us to take.
Anyway.
So basically,
Yeah.
so they were all like these very gorgeous, beautifully sort of Herb Ritzy kind of photos that
Yeah.
were shot, and this amazing video of her by this waterfall on a lake, naked, and you just
Yeah.
saw her behind, and it just said Cosmos.
Yeah.
And no one knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh God, this is really interesting. Is she like going to take, trying to be the new Goop and what's
Yeah.
going on here?
Yeah.
And then it kept saying launching September the 1st. And I kept getting emails about it. So I was quite excited.
Yeah.
And then on September the 1st, it actually launched.
Yeah.
And it's basically a product line.
Correct.
Sorry,
A very expensive
That was
product
very
line.
underwhelming.
Well, anyway,
How much do they retail at?
Oh, quite a lot. I think the cleanser's like 60 quid.
Well, if you've got mythical tears in your cleanser.
No, that's much more expensive. That's like £125 or something.
Where do you
The
get
oil.
mythical tears from, though?
Literally from the Cosmos website.
No.
Oh, where do you collect them from?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to do a deep dive into that. The wellness line has a distinctly Goop meets modern witchcraft vibe, complete with a mystical crescent moon adorned packaging that brings just a dash of Kate Moss for Topshop into the equation. A nod to the vintage decadence takes the place of the expected wellness minimalism, claiming a new space where CBD, tarot and herbal tea cross over. Oh, there's a tea. There's 2 teas in the range. It's £20 for a pack of tea bags.
How many tea bags?
Not very many. 20 quid for a pack of tea bags.
We've got to try it. Why are you looking
Well,
like
you
that?
can buy them because I'm not.
I'm not going to buy them, although I have been trying to get hold of their PR. Funnily, they haven't got back to me.
Oh, really? How surprising.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not like we have a self-care podcast or anything.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I thought it was quite interesting for and can I just say,
Please.
in Gwyneth Paltrow's defence,
Yes.
she has been mocked, laughed at,
Mainly by us.
ridiculed,
Yeah.
taken the piss out of
Yeah.
for her Goop brand, right?
But everyone wants in on it. On a bit of the action.
Kourtney Kardashian wants in on it.
Fern, what's her name? Holly Willaboobies.
That's not her name. Oh yes, Holly Willabooby. She's also got her own wild line.
Correct.
Everyone wants a piece of it.
Yeah.
So who's bloody laughing now? And let me tell you something. None of them have done it as well as Goop.
She's always been laughing.
She's cornered the market.
She cornered it
But
before
why?
anyone
But
else.
why is she so ridiculed then? Because she pushes boundaries. She pushes boundaries that other people are not willing to push. That's why. She's a bit of a change maker. I know you're going to disagree with me there.
No comment.
She is. She is. No, well, you have to comment.
I don't have to. You can't make me.
You have to comment.
Now we have to have a difficult conversation.
I'm not having another one.
Anyway, we've got a new little section going on in the Epilogue show, and it's called
Recommendation of the week.
I mean, James might have to do the voiceover for that for next week, and he'll say it like,
Recommendation of the week.
right, first thing, a book.
You're asking me to recommend a book?
I'm going to recommend you a book.
I haven't got one book.
I've got one that I read on holiday, and I was so obsessed with it. I sat on my beach cabana and I read it the entire day till the sun went down and it was too dark to read anymore because I could not stop reading it. And I'm going to lend it to you. And I only brought it home in my suitcase so I could lend it to you because I know how much you're going to love it.
But when am I going to read it?
In your spare time.
All that time.
In
All
bed.
that spare
You're gonna
time I
read it
have.
in bed.
I'm
Okay.
too busy. Oh, okay.
It's you're too busy in bed. It's called...
I have been quite busy in bed.
Okay.
That's what I'm recommending. Go on.
Well, that's self-care.
It's totally self-care.
The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. That is the book.
I reckon they're more interested in my recommendation.
Do you want to talk
No.
about your recommendation?
No.
Okay. It's the same author who wrote Daisy and the Six, if any of you have loved that.
Oh my God. I did the same thing last summer, Daisy and the Six. I read it on the beach. I did not move in one day.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Following this, I had Daisy and the Six with me. I had never read it. I read it straight after.
I told you about it.
I read it straight after this. It is not a patch on this.
Oh my God, are you joking?
This is a far, far superior novel to Daisy and the Six.
Okay.
And I asked a few people and they were like, oh yeah, it shits all over it. It's like she wrote that novel and she could never write anything as good after. It is... I can't even tell you how much you're going to love it.
Okay.
That's my book.
Okay.
Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay. A show.
Yeah, I've got one.
Go on.
It's not new.
Go
But
on.
we're obsessed with it. Oh, there's two.
Yeah, go on.
Better Call Saul.
My husband has basically forgone our marriage for the whole of 6 series of Better Call
Well,
Saul.
it is just genius. If you loved Breaking Bad, this is absolutely brilliant. Not quite as gritty, but so funny, so clever. You're on the edge of your seat the whole time. You fall totally in love with him, even though he's a total shambles, and it's just brilliant.
It better be good because it's basically destroyed quite a lot of my
Well,
sex life for a long time.
Well, you need
this
to
series.
start watching it.
No, he's now finished. So, thank God.
And also,
Yeah.
big news.
Yeah.
selling the OC.
Yes, selling the OC.
How could we forget that?
I thought you were going to say our new favourite show that you told me about that we both finished in a day and a half, Uncoupled, the gay version of Sex and the City,
just
with Neil
absolute
Patrick Harris. How good?
Genius, beauty, loved it.
Loved
Literally
it.
ate every second up of it.
It's about a man in his 40s who finds
50s.
himself... No, he's 40-something. His partner was in his 50s. And he finds himself single in New York City after a long-term relationship ends. And it is
Hilarious.
so good.
And how the dating scene had changed in 17 years. It's very funny.
It's brilliant. It's very rude.
So that's
very
that.
rude.
What else we got?
A podcast I would like to recommend.
It's called the Self Care Club.
It's called Self Care Club. It's presented by me, Lauren Mishkon, and Nicole. No, it's not that. It's called 28-ish Days Later. It's presented by India Rakusan. It explores a whole lot more than periods.
At the podcast awards?
Yeah, they did. It's about a lot more than periods, but it's just a really good podcast.
Okay, good. I need a new podcast. I'm a bit bored with mine.
Now, have you got a beauty item?
Yes, I have.
That you want to recommend? Go on.
Yes, I have.
What
Shall I
is
get
it?
it out of my handbag?
Yes.
Right.
I've also got mine in my handbag.
Full disclosure, this does not need any promoting.
No.
And it certainly doesn't need promoting on my silly podcast.
Oh, what is it?
It is Kylie Jenner's lip gloss. The whole range is totally fabulous. The packaging is totally fabulous. The lipstick is matte. I love it, but it comes like a gloss. It stays on your lips. It comes with a lip pencil, which I don't love, but it does help it stay on for longer. And it is a beautiful, beautiful product.
Did you buy it on the Tinterweb?
I bought it on the Tinterweb.
And how much does such item cost?
But you get that and the pencil, and I
Yep.
think it was around £25.
Is it worth it?
I love it.
You love it. Okay.
I'm going to get the red as well.
Okay. Thank you for that.
And she does a whole nude series. It's fantastic.
Oh, I love a nude lip. Okay, wonderful. I'll leave mine for next week because I think that was great.
You like that?
Love it.
Like
yeah.
it. Okay. Great. That's our new segment. What do you think, clubbers?
I think they'd like a little sneak peek into what we're doing next week. We are doing. Nicole's looking at me like, oh my God, what are we doing
What are
next
we doing?
week?
Yeah.
We're taking a leap of faith, my friend. We're taking a leap of faith. And who have we got as our special expert guest?
She's back.
None other than
Our
Nancy
friend is
Levin, friend of the show.
Yeah. And if you are not familiar with her work, please go back and listen to our Boundaries episode where she is just a moment of genius, isn't it?
She's fab.
She is so wise, so fantastic. Don't say we are not giving you great content from our September shows.
Okay, that's it from us.
That's it.
For the week.
Yeah, we'll be back on Monday with more from A Leap of Faith.
Have a lovely weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye, clubbers.